Or spiritual mastery, the only way by which we can attain free growth and service. Now to its Holy Speak is great power and evidence. By His grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. I only wish it to have my consciousness purified by the words I never get to His glorious path. Attachment to His Holy Speak is the perfection and fulfilled all the life. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with genuine knowledge. He is my Lord who is after the birth, from him ecstatic flame emanates. By him ignorance is secured, the vague scriptures prove his character. Our spiritual master is the devotion of mercy, the friend of the poor and the Lord of Master is devoted. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the free world. You will Bhagavatam Jai.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, fourth canto, fourth chapter. Vikaksana ya sano prasnana sangam yudasya vayanto nate atmanam vedanti Klamas Tasmai Subhadra Javashe Namo Namaha Vikaksana Yachanana Pasanantnat Sangam Vyudasyo Bharyato Natiratmana Vedanti Brahma Gatim Gata Klamas Tasmai Subhadra Savashe Namo Namaha Vikaksana Yachano Pasananat Sangam Jirasyo Bhayato Natiratmana Vedanti Brahma Gatim Gata Klamas Tasmai Subhadra Savashe Namo Namaha Vikaksana Yachana No Pasadanat Sangam Yadasyo Bharyato Nitaratmana Vedanti Brahma Gatim Gata Klamas Tasmai Subhadra Savashe Namo Namaha
Vichakshana Charanopasanat
Vikaksana Yachano Pasandanat
Sangam Yudasyo Bhayatom Taratmanaha
Sangam Vayodaso Bhayato Nataratmana
Vindanti Brahmagatim Gata Klamas
Vedanti Brahma Gatim Gata Klamas
Tasmai Subhadra Shavase Namo Namaha
Tasmai Subhadra Savashe Namo Namaha
Vichakshana Charanopasadanat
Vikaksana Yachana No Pasandanat
Sangam Yudasyo Bhayatontaratmanaha
Sangam Jidosyo Vayato Nataratmana
Vindanti Brahmagatingata Klamas
Vedanti Brahma Gatim Gata Klamas
Tasmai Subhadrashvase Namo Namaha
Tasmai Subhadra Savashe Namo Namaha
Vichakshanaaya charanopashadanaat
Vikshanaya Chananopasadana
Sangam vyavasyo bhayantaratmanah
Sangam Yadasho Vayato Nataratmana
Vidanti brahmagatim gatakalmasha
Vedanti Brahma Gatim Kata Klamas
Tasme Shubhadra Sarvase Namo Namah
Tasmai Shivadra Savase Namo Namaha
Vichakshanayach charanopasadanat
Viksakshana Chananopasadana
Sangam Vyadasyo Bhayato Nitaratmana
Sangam Vayasyo Vayato Natatmana
Vidanti Brahmagatim Gataklamas
Vedanti Brahma Gatim Kata Klamas
Tasmai Subhadra Sravase Namo Namaha
Tasmai Shivadra Savase Namo Namaha
Vichakshanaya charanapasadanat
Vikakshana Yakshana Pasantanat
Sangam Yudasyo Payato Antaratmana
Sangam Pradyoda Sabhadyato Natatmana
Vedantihi Brahmagatim Gatakamash
Vedanti Brahma Gatim Kata Klamas
Tasmai Subhadra Shavase Namo Namah
Tasmai Shivadra Savase Namo Namaha
Vichakshanaya charanopasadana
Vikakshana Yakshana Pasantanat
Sangam Vyadasyo Byantarantaratmana
Sangam Vidasyo Vayato Nataratmana
Vedantihi Brahma Gatim Gataklamash
Vedanti Brahma Gatim Kata Klamas
Tasmai Subhadra Shravase Namo Namaha
Tasmai Subhadra Savase Namo Namaha
Vichakshanaya Karanopasadanat
Vikshakshana Yakshana Pasantanat
Sangam Yudashya Bhayatontar Atmar
Sangam Vidasyo Vayato Nataratmana
Vedantihi Brahma Gatim Gata Klamash
Vedanti Brahma Gatim Kata Klamas
Tasmai Subhadra Shravase Namo Nama
Tasmai Subhadra Savase Namo Namaha
Vishakshana Yash Sharano Pasandanat
Vikshana Yakshana Pasantanat
Samgam Vyudas Si Om Bhayato Nitar Atmanaha
Sangam Pradosyo Vayato Nataratmana
Vindantihi Brahma Katim Gata Klamas
Vedanti Brahma Gatim Kata Klamas
Tasmai Subhadra Shavase Namo Namaha
Tasmai Shibhadra Savase Namo Namaha Vikshakshana Yakshana Pasantanat Sangam Vedasyo Vayato Nataratmana Vedanti Brahma Gatim Kata Klamas Tasmai Subhadra Savase Namo Namaha
Vichakshanaya charanopasadanat
Vikshana Yakshana Pasantanat Sangam Virasyo Vayato Nataratmana Vedanti Brahma Gatim Kata Klamas Tasmai Subhadra Savase Namo Namaha Does everyone chanted? So chant the word by word synonyms. Vikakshana highly intellectual. Yat, whose, Karno Prasantana, simply dedicating oneself unto the lotus feet. Sangam, attachment. Yudhyasya, giving up completely. Ubahyata, for present and future existence. Antatmana, of the heart and soul. Vedanti, moves progressively. He, certainly. Brahmagatim, towards spiritual existence. Gata klama, without difficulty. Tasmai, unto him. Subhadra, all auspicious. Sarvashe, unto one who is heard. Namaha, my due obeisances. Nama, again and again. And translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Let me offer my respectful obeisances again and again unto the all-auspicious Lord Sri Krishna, the highly intellectual, simply by surrendering unto his lotus feet, are relieved of all attachments to present and future existences, and without difficulty progress toward spiritual existence. Purport. Lord Sri Krishna has repeatedly instructed Arjuna, or for that matter, everyone concerned with becoming his unalloyed devotee. In the last phase of his instruction in the Bhagavad Gita, 1864 through 66, he instructed most confidentially as follows. Sarva Guyatmam Bhuya Shrimu Me Paramam Pacha Isto Si Me Driyam Iti Tato Vikshami Te Itam Man Manabhava Madbhakto Madhyajimam Namaskaro Mam Eva Shishantam Te Prantite Priyoshimi Sarvadharma Pratikja Mamekam Saranamrita Swav Sarvasa Papebhyo Mokshachami Masuchaha. My dear Arjun, you are very dear to me, and therefore only for your good I will disclose the most secret part of my instructions. It is simply this: become a pure devotee of mine and give yourself unto me only. And I promise you full spiritual existence, by which you may gain the eternal right of transcendental loving service unto me. Just give up all other ways of religiosity and exclusively surrender unto me, and believe that I will protect you from your sinful acts, and I shall deliver you. Do not worry anymore. Persons who are intelligent take serious notice of this last instruction of the Lord. Knowledge of the self is the first step in spiritual self-realization, which is called confidential knowledge. And a step further is God realization, which is called more confidential knowledge. The culmination of the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is God realization. And when one attains the stage of God realization, he naturally, voluntarily becomes a devotee of the Lord to render him loving transcendental service. This devotional service to the Lord is always based on love of God and is distinct from the nature of routine service as prescribed in Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or Dhyana Yoga. In the Bhagavad Gita, there are different instructions for such men of different categories, and there are various descriptions for Varnashram Dharma, Sannyas Dharma, Yati Dharma, the renounced order of life, controlling the senses, meditation, perfection of mystic powers, and so forth. But one who fully surrenders unto the Lord to render service unto him out of spontaneous love for him factually assimilates the existence of all knowledge described in the Vedas. One who adopts this method very skillfully attains perfection of life at once. And this perfection of human life is called Brahma Gati, or the progressive march in spiritual existence. As enunciated by Srila Jiva Goswami on the basis of Vedic assurances, Brahmagati means to attain a spiritual form as good as that of the Lord. And in that form, the liberated living being eternally lives on one of the spiritual planets situated in the spiritual sky. Attainment is this perfection of life is easily available to a pure devotee Lord without his undergoing any difficult method of perfection. Such a devotional life is full of kirtanam, smaranam, ikshtanam, and so forth, as mentioned in the previous verse. One must therefore adopt a simple way of devotional life in order to attain the highest perfection available in any category of the human form of life in any part of the world. When Lord Brahma met Lord Krishna as a playful child at Vrindavan, he offered his prayer in which he said, Shreya Satim Bhaktim Ujashate Viho Kishanti Ye Kavala Bodha Dlopye Teshamaso Kilesha Eva Shishate Nadya Yata Sushila Jisava Gadantinam. Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 14th chapter, 4th verse. Bhakti Yoga is the highest quality of perfection to be achieved by an intelligent person in lieu of performing a large quantity of spiritual activities. The example cited here is very appropriate. A handful of real paddy is more valuable than heaps of paddy skins without any substance within. Similarly, one should not be attracted by the jugglery of karma kanda or dhyana kanda, or even the gymnastic performances of yoga, but skillfully should take to the simple performances of kirtanam, smaranam, and so forth, under a bona fide spiritual master, and without any difficulty attain the highest perfection. So yeah, this is a really nice verse. So Sukadeva Goswami, he's speaking now and he's paying his obeisances to the Lord. And he's going to answer Maharaj Priskit's inquiries regarding the specific details of creation. So of course, Maharaj Priskit is a great devotee, so he knows that everything exists within the Lord, or everything that emanates from Krishna, but he wants to know in detail how the universal manifestation, the Mahat Tattva, makes his appearance. So Sukadeva Goswami is going to describe that. So this is I've listened to some lectures. It was by what's his name? Jai Agora Nitai Ki Jai. So anyways, yeah, I listened to some lectures. He's a really popular spiritual master. I can't remember what his name is at the moment. But because I know I listened to some Ramapad lectures. Who's a real famous person who's been traveling around? Everybody likes him all over the place. Huh? No, that's on. It's really, really popular. But anyways, I can't remember his name. So anyways, he was talking about the intelligence, many different types of intelligence. So the real intelligence, or the intelligence to be engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, that of the real intelligent persons. Then he'll inquire the Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita, he was talking about the confidential knowledge, which is spiritual knowledge. But from spiritual knowledge, it leads to God realization, or the most confidential knowledge. So he was talking about of so many different intellectual pursuits. So which is just simply material yoga, what's it, karma, jnana, different types of artha, dhamma, kama, and then finally moksha. So material religiosity and economic development, sense gratification, and then the pursuit for liberation. So, but that devotional service is a completely a different animal. Actually, it's what's Krishna states that he is to be known through the Vedas. Vedas. What's the verse in Bhagavad Gita? That Krishna says that by all the Vedas, I am to be known. So he specifically mentioned that as well. So, and then as well as like intelligence applied in the material field, like scientists, big brain, like big scientists. So the whole aspect is that the actual real intelligent person glorifies the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I was listening to some Bhagavad Gita tapes by Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was saying the actual real economic development isn't manufactured through factory, or these synthetics, right? Man-made materials. right? It's what you can produce from the land. That's agriculture production. That's actual real economic development, what you can produce from the land, or what you can produce from the land and make from what you got from the land. But they're ripping up the land, completely tearing up the environment to get all their things out of the metals, to make the steel, the iron, like that, the different valuable, what is it, fracking, and get the oil out of drain the earth of its oil, like that. So, but generally, the earth, it supplies nice gems from the mountains and the seas, and nice agriculture and nice rain. But these things aren't being taken place right now because the demons, the consciousness of the earth is polluted. So Bhumi, she's withdrawing the resources, like that. So the earth isn't very prosperous. And karmis, they want to use their intelligence to do things in their own way instead of the things that are prescribed and what's been in place for hundreds of thousands of years. Just take some simple milk from a simple cow that just eats some simple grass and make some yogurt with it and curd with it. Do so many different things. Take the grains and prepare the grains in so many different ways. Prabhupada was saying, we have so many different types of foodstuffs, and it's all really pretty much the same things. It's grains, some wheat, and butter and milk, sugar, and rice, and it's and some spices, and it's just arranged just slightly a little differently, and we make so many different more types of milk, sweet products, and rice can be used to make so many nice fried breads. They're kind of like breads with dal and rice. Boil the rice and put in the food processor, like that, and then make it into a dough and deep fry it. So make so many different nice things. And and another thing that he wanted to stress is that the poetic way that Srila Prabhupada had translated these 3 Bhagavad Gita verses, like that. So it's a real nice, what is a summary, kind of a nice summary of these Bhagavad Gita verses that he had Prabhupada explained. So Krishna says, Sarva Dharma Prakshita Mami Kam Sanamaja Ham Fam Sarva Papibyo Moshami Masita. Just abandon all varieties of religious activities and just surrender it to me. I shall deliver you from all fear. So yeah, the way Prabhupada's translating here is that this is like great. Just give up all other ways of religiosity and exclusively surrender to me, and believe that I will protect you from your sinful acts, and I shall deliver you. Do not worry anymore. And Krishna is saying, Mad Mano Bhakto, Mad Yajmam Namaskuru, like that. It's Mami Vishish Satyam Te Prajakti Priyoshime. So Man Mana Baba Mad Bhakto, Mana refers to the mind. So just think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer your homage unto me. That shall come to me without fail. So Prabhupada, he makes a nice summary here. Become a pure devotee of mine and give yourself unto me only, and I promise you full spiritual existence, which you may gain the eternal right of transcendental loving service unto me. So that's a real privilege to be able to gain exclusive devotional service. With this was also stressed that this is what transcends all other karma, jnana, yoga, philosophical speculation, any type of other pursuits in the material world, is that this is completely transcendental. And that's the secret that only the bhakta yogis can, only the devotees can understand this. It's not by so many other types of mental speculations or or creating a vacuum within the mind, or try to meditate on something impersonal or void like that. It's the easy process of the positive engagement of engaging the mind and the senses in the devotional service of Krishna. And that's the actual secret of success. The non-devotees can't understand this. They think that this is a much lower grade of some sort of worship or dharma or religion, that this isn't yoga at all like that. But we can make the attempt to for self-realization, to understand what Krishna is telling us in Bhagavad Gita. Is not only speaking to Arjuna, like Prabhupada was saying here, but it's speaking for everyone, speaking to everyone in all times, all past, present, and future. Bhagavad Gita was spoken, so people of all times can take advantage of the instructions of Krishna and Bhagavad Gita, and thus make their life perfected. Otherwise, they're just saying that's even more zeros, going back to school again and trying to get some more degrees and just adding some more zeros to all the zeros you already have, like that. But if you just add one to all those zeros, and if you just add Krishna, then they can become millions, and then they actually have real value. Otherwise, it's no value. It's just leading the individual back into hellish existence again, not knowing through this lifetime who or what they actually really were. They're under some impression that they're like, okay, like Bob Jones, like this, okay. And it's all over at the time of death. You just go unconscious, you just go to sleep. That's it. You know, this is a one-time shot. You know, so, but that's not exactly the fact. One again goes to hell as before, as stated in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. They realized they made a mistake again, and go through a process that takes millions and millions of years to achieve through transmigrations through 8,400,000 species of life. So, and then that's Maharaj was saying is that the danger is not dying, the danger is actually taking birth in the material world again and transmigrating, again, not getting out of the material world. So this is the secret of success, becoming a devotee of Krishna and returning again back to the highest, topmost planet of Krishna, Goloka and Vrindavan, where one assumes the eternal form and of the same eternal nature as Krishna himself, and engages in his loving devotional service, or we revive our original God consciousness rather than the illusory, temporary consciousness of identification with the material body as matter. As Prabhupada was talking about this, he was saying that in the womb, the infant, the fetus, is developing. And the reason why it's developing is because of the presence of the spiritual soul. Now, then at the 7th month, again, it will get its consciousness back. It's not that consciousness is developing, or that consciousness, consciousness is something in the soul, but it's not that it becomes alive, right, after the 7th month or after a specific point of period of time. It was always alive. So that's the whole process of birth and death and disease. And now the danger, as Prabhupada was saying, is that the woman, you can't even take your birth because she's getting some abortions, killing the child within the womb. It's not wanted. They don't want it. They just want the sense gratification like that, but they really don't want their children anymore. So that's and another danger is taking birth on the ranches for human consumption in the animal form, like that. Prabhupada was stating that, take birth as cows or chickens or pigs, goats on ranches meant for human consumption. I think that we illustrated this a few times, how Indra, he was the body of a pig and he was really happy. He was in his pigsty with mud and stool and his sheep pigs and his children pigs. And Narada Muni was coming and saying, okay, Indra, time to come back to the heavenly planets. And he's going, what are you talking about? What's heavenly planets? Who's Indra? He said, I'm happy here doing exactly this. And the farmer, he was over there. He had the grinding wheel. He was sharpening the axe. Actually, it was just in time for this pig to be slaughtered, that mercifully killed. And so Narada Muni, I guess, what did he do? I think he actually killed the pig to get Indra out of there and take him back to the heavenly planets just in time. So that's a good illustration for this sort of thing. So, oh yeah, I was thinking about, like, when I first joined the movement, what we were reading about in Srimad Bhagavatam. So we got to the part about Chitraketu. And he was a king, and he had a son, and his son would bring both happiness and lamentation. So all the other queens couldn't have a son, but this one queen had the son. So all the other queens became envious and poisoned the son. I believe this was discussed in class recently too. So Narada Muni brought the son back to life. And he was like saying, like, okay, well, these are my parents. In which birth were they my parents? I've gone through many, many births and I have many, many parents like that. So he was describing the eternality of the soul and transmigration through the boyhood, through Yovanam Karajara. As from boyhood to youth to old age, one similarly passes into another body at death. Self-realized soul is not bewildered by such change. And whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. So this is the subtle science of the soul. Prabhupada is saying, where is that department? There's no department or school of education that teaches the science of the soul. So here's the subtle science of the soul. It's like whatever frame of mind you're in, or whatever you're thinking of at that specific point of life. Prabhupada was saying that for a woman, it's elevation. In Vedic culture, they teach women to be follow chastity, follow her husband. And in this way, she can be elevated and take a birth as a man in the next life. Prabhupada saying, in the same way, the man who's too much attached to family life and too much attached to his wife will take a birth as a woman in his next life. So Prabhupada was explaining like that. He was explaining a few different things, how we're all prakriti. So the man, he wants to be the enjoyer. So he wants to be the Purusha, but we're all the Prakriti, we're all the nature. So he said, similarly, the woman, she also wants to enjoy. So she's trying to be man, like Purusha, the enjoyer. She's trying to be man because she also wants to be the enjoyer. But we're all Prakriti, or nature. So Krishna's nature, and that the whole idea is to satisfy Krishna's senses. So he's saying, Prabhupada was saying, what is like devotional love? You know, if one offers me with love, devotion, leaf, fruit, flower, water, I will accept it. So Prabhupada, he was saying that sing to the actual happiness of Krishna, to the satisfaction of Krishna's senses. And so he was saying, so that's Krishna consciousness, and that's actually an exhibit of love of Godhead, or a love of God is properly displayed in that way. So were there any questions or comments or anything else we can, any points of discussion? Yeah.
When we're in front of the Archvigra, is that considered we're making step towards our eternal occupation? Or
Oh, well, yeah, definitely. The Archa-Vigraha is actually really directly Krishna, or God himself, in a form that we can see him in a tangible form. Yeah, it's made in a specific authorized Vedic way. And there's some specific mantras in a fire sacrifice where we invite the Lord to take the form as the Archa-Vigraha, this form of the deity. And so of course, yeah, you're taking steps. Everything that you do, you're taking steps towards the Lord. So every day bowing down before the Lord, chanting the Brahma Samhita prayers. And when you come into the temple and chanting and dancing for the Lord's pleasure. So, and every day and every minute, and you continue to progress, you making more and more steps towards your devotional service or towards God realization. But not only that, but as you take like one step towards Krishna, he's also taking 10 steps towards you. So you can think of it that way too, as you're progressing towards God consciousness step by step. Krishna, he's taking bigger steps towards you. So Krishna, that's one of the things I think I heard this state, that the bhakta has a tendency to forget that the Lord actually has the affinity for the bhakta as well. Do you develop your devotional attitude towards the loving service of Krishna, the Lord, and over the deity, and you're thinking about Krishna and your devotional service, but you kind of have a tendency to kind of forget that Krishna's actually kind of has an affinity towards the bhakta like that too. Krishna is developing the love of God. Well, he loves all of his living entities, so we're developing our love of God. So Krishna, he certainly has the love of all of his jivas like that. Oh yeah, there was Jamunachara Vanachari. Prabhupada was saying that Krishna, he's wandering along the Jamuna, and he's thinking how to satisfy Gopijana. And the Gopijana, they're just simply thinking how to satisfy Krishna. Like that, the Jaya Radha Madhava prayers. So does that answer your question? Yeah. Anyone else have any other questions or comments? Anything we can mention? Okay, maybe we can end class there then. Jai Gaur Nitai ki Jai, Srimad Bhagavatam class ki Jai.